Have you ever heard about helminths? I bet most of you haven't. That's why we're here to introduce you to these organisms. Helminth is a Greek word that means worm. They're invertebrates with long, flat, or round bodies, and they feed on living hosts to survive. That means just about any of you could catch this if you're not careful enough. And when these little creatures manage to get inside our bodies, the effects are so severe that they can lead to physical, nutritional, and cognitive defects in the development of children. Not to mention, helminths are also one of the leading causes of death, affecting almost a third of the world's population. Pretty horrifying if you ask me. So let's learn more about these organisms and how they affect our body. There are different types of helminths all around the world, but let's talk about the four most common helminth infections. First, we have the hookworm infections or Ancylostomyiasis. Did you know that the hookworms are parasites that infect the intestines? There are two species of hookworms, namely the Ancylostoma duodenal and the Necator americanus. Both of these species thrive in moist and hot areas. Tapeworms or teniasis. Just like the hookworms, they can also live in people's digestive tracts. There are three common types of tapeworms, those found in pork, beef, and fish. Tapeworm infections can be characterized by cysts forming in the brain and elsewhere in the body. The third common helminth infection is flukes. There are many types of flukes, and these which may target a person's digestive, pulmonary, and urinary systems. The common transmission of human infections include fish, crustaceans, and aquatic plants. Fourth are the roundworms or Ascariasis. This parasitic infection is the most prevalent infection worldwide, having infected 807 million to 1.2 billion people according to the CDC. When infected by this, light infections may be asymptomatic, but in severe cases, this may lead to problems within the pulmonary, gastrointestinal, and growth and development of individuals. Although different helminths can lead to different reactions from the body, some common symptoms that are found in the helminth infections include fever, nausea, extreme abdominal pain, diarrhea, and weight loss. How are these helminths spread to humans? The transmission of these parasitic infections can either be from animals, food, and the environment. Animals and pets can carry parasites and pass these on to people. These are called zoonotic diseases. People can acquire zoonotic infections from animals like cows and pigs when ingesting undercooked meat from them, accidentally coming into contact with the stool of these infected animals. Numerous parasites can also be transmitted via food, including what was said earlier about ingesting undercooked or raw meat and vegetables. Lastly, the environment such as our waters and soils are also at risk of helminth infections. This is because helminths can live in the natural water resources and lay eggs in the soil, which will then lead to contamination.
Now that you know how these spread to humans, let us now learn the ways on how to protect oneself from these infections. For you to easily remember on what to do in preventing helminth infections, we came up with an acronym: WORM. Pretty gross, you might think, but hear me out. W for wash your hands. Personal hygiene, such as washing your hands and regular nail clipping, is considered to be the most effective way for a person to reduce the spread of microorganisms and prevent the incidence of parasitic infections. Next, we have the letter O for observe food and water safety. Germs can get into food and drinks while people prepare or consume them and make people sick. This is why one must make sure to wash and peel vegetables and thoroughly inspect the meat before cooking it with the recommended temperatures. Also, you should make sure that you are not to drink or come into contact with contaminated water. Treat water as necessary and make sure to have safe water supplies. R for reduce soil contamination. As I've said earlier, soil can be contaminated due to the presence of helminth eggs. This is why we must create a barrier between ourselves and the soil and avoid direct skin contact with it. Steps to prevent soil contamination include wearing shoes and using mats when seated on the ground. Lastly, we have M. M for maintain sanitation and proper waste management. Sanitation and proper waste management are crucial in preventing helminth infections as they prevent the exposure of fecal pathogens and control the accumulation of disease-causing microorganisms. It is also able to protect natural resources, reduce the chances of contamination, and provide a healthy living environment for everyone. So when preventing helminth infections, always remember to worm.